holistic chiropractor. His office is in Decatur on Memorial Drive in the Park Plaza. Thank you for joining us again, Dr. Finkelstein. It's always good to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Rashonda. Thank you.
Now, as you know, today our topic is on emotions. Some people describe emotions as moods, temperament, disposition. How would you describe emotions?
Well, first of all, there are very specific emotions that affect our body, that affect our physiology. One of these emotions is anger. Another emotion is sadness and grieving. Love and joy are emotions. But what we all have to understand is that our emotions, of all the aspects of healing, physical health, nutritional health, the emotional component of healing is probably the least understood, and I believe one of the most important components of actually being a healthy human being. As an example, just for people in the audience watching our show today, to just understand the power of our thoughts and how our thoughts affect our physiology, I would like everyone who's watching the show to just imagine in their mind a yellow, juicy lemon.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
And as they're picturing that lemon, I want them now to cut open that lemon, and I want them to put half that lemon in their mouth and bite down into that lemon. Now, can you feel what's happening in your body as you're doing that? Can you feel what's happening in your mouth?
Yes, and my body is reacting, yes.
Yeah, and can you feel the saliva in your mouth, what's happening there? So in other words, all we simply did was we thought of a lemon, which immediately conjures up a picture, and we visualized actually biting into that lemon, and all of a sudden there's physiological chemical reactions in the body, except there is no lemon. Now, of course, in the big scheme of things, most of us don't think of lemons all day long, but we do have thoughts and emotions that we carry with us throughout the day. Things like anxieties, things like fears, upsets. That is actually as dynamic as that lemon was affecting our physiology. Those emotions and thoughts we carry with us every day, unknowingly, subconscious, are affecting physiological changes in our body.
Okay. Is it because those thoughts and emotions are tied to an experience or a feeling?
Well, it's a combination of different things. What happens is when we are, for instance, feeling anxiety or fears. Let's imagine someone is going to work on a new job, and they have a lot of anxiety and fear about that new job. Now, what happens when we have anxiety and fear, physiologically, that is contracting our body. Physiologically, that overstimulates the adrenal glands, which are these little glands that sit above our kidneys, that produce lots of hormones. That triggers the pancreas to raise blood sugar levels. That produces blood pressure to rise. So here's someone just going to work with more anxiety about all the stresses at work. Or let's say it's a child going to school with peer pressure. Or let's say it's someone entering a new relationship on a blind date. All these feelings we're having, what we just have to begin to become conscious of is how emotions and thoughts affect our body. Here's the thing, we're going to feel these things, but most of us don't know what to do with these emotions, so indeed we can become actually healthier people.
So when we're feeling these things and it's causing a natural reaction, like you said, a lot of us don't know what to do. Why is it that we feel as though the reactions are bad? Why do we feel that way?
Well, none of us like to be uncomfortable. What you're saying, again, this world of emotions and how we deal with emotions is so prevalent for all of us to understand, because in the world we live in, where so many people are on medicine for anxiety and depression, and I'm not talking about elderly people, the highest rate of suicide is teenagers. We have critical, serious health problems going on in our society. We have learning disabilities for children who are like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old who are not dealing emotionally in a healthy way in their environment. Maybe things are going on at home. And feelings in our society, instead of us learning how to be with what we're feeling, what happens is emotions start to get suppressed. When emotions get suppressed, this is what makes us sick. So when we show up in the workplace as someone's like it's now going to a job, it's not just that that person now is going to a new job, it's this person and how they've been being taught how to deal with their life emotionally, let's just say for the last 20 years, where every situation they've been in, every new situation has been basically been faced with fear and anxieties not in a healthy way. You could almost say, with most of us as human beings, when good things are happening in our life, we're stressed. When not good things are happening in our life, we're stressed. And if we're continuously stressed, this is like it's like whipping a horse. Eventually the body is just going to collapse. It's going to collapse. So we have to literally learn consciously, number one, we have to learn to begin to be conscious of what we're feeling.
Okay.
One of the things I recommend for anyone watching the show today is to get out a piece of paper and a pen. One of the arts we have to learn to do is to journal what we're feeling. So many people have been in relationships where they've been hurt. So many people have lost people they've loved and been sad. These are not things we can't avoid what we feel. Feelings and emotions are going to come up. The question is, do we know how to heal so that actually the process of feeling things becomes a process of healing? There's a saying, what we feel, we can heal. What we feel, we can heal. If we suppress things, it will make us sicker and sicker.
Okay, so journaling is a way for us to become more aware of what we're feeling.
Exactly.
So writing it down and getting it out. Because it's a form of getting out so that we can see for ourselves. That makes that feeling more tangible.
Exactly. As an example, let's just imagine someone who's been hurt in a relationship. Probably a lot of listeners out there have been hurt in a relationship. So what we can journal is, rather than not wanting to feel what we're feeling or being upset with the other person but not being clear about what's going on, what we can write down is, I am feeling upset that, and we want to get really focused on what? I'm upset that this person left me. I'm upset that this person lied to me. I'm upset that this person didn't treat me respectfully or honorably. I'm upset that this person cheated on me. The more we get in touch with all those feelings authentically and honestly, and we have to really be willing to do this, because you see, most of us don't want to feel these things. It goes against our grain. We want to sadly take a drug and not feel anything and just pretend everything is okay, and if I just find someone else, everything will be A-okay.
I was going to say, give an example of the other end of when you go through a relationship, what most people do to suppress it. You were giving an example of, well, forget this person, I'm moving on, I didn't need this person, instead of, like you said, taking that emotion out in a journal, writing it out.
And just to what you were just sharing, what happens in those circumstances when someone's in denial of not really authentically healing? They tend to recreate the same kind of relationship again and again, because now they go into the next relationship with more distrust. The heart has kind of gotten smaller. Someone is thinking, I'm not going to open up my heart again because I don't want to be, in quotes, hurt again. See, when we avoid wanting to be hurt, the problem is we become unhealthier. When we understand healing, it's like a broken bone. You have a broken bone, you go someplace to mend that bone, the bone cells have to connect to get stronger and stronger so it heals the proper way. It takes time to heal, but then after it heals, we don't say, okay, I'm not playing again because I don't want to break my arm again. We go out and, hey, I want to play full blast again. But when we break our heart, for instance, it would behoove us if we wore like a little badge on our heart that said, my heart right now is broken, I am healing. That way we didn't have to pretend to the world that everything was fine and okay. We could literally let people know, right now I am healed. I am working on me. I am doing things to get healthier. I am learning about me. So like the next phase of that journaling exercise is, here's what I'm angry at. The next phase is, I'm sad. I'm sad that the relationship ended. I'm sad that I thought it was going to be great and it did not manifest into how I thought it was going to be. I'm sad that the home got broken. So we got to get in touch with that sadness component, because that's a different vibration than anger. And then once we do that, now we're ready to enter into the next level of what's healing. It's called, now what I want to create is. What I want to create is not holding on to this anger. What I want to create is forgiving myself for anything I've made myself wrong for. Ultimately, I want to forgive the other person for something they did, because I know if I hold on to it, and that's something people have to understand, it's a critical thing. We have to understand whatever we hold on to is going to own us the rest of our life. Anyone who's an adult knows this on some level, but we just may not understand actually how to heal through it. And again, how to heal through things, we have to be willing to feel. I had a patient come into my office, and she lost a son who was a teenager, 19 years old, in a car accident. And when she came to see me, she had been, it happened 3 years ago. And she was still, grieving, which is fine. She lost a son. But the problem is she had another son that was still alive, that was in his 20s, who was just remarried, not remarried, but married, and just had a child. And the sad part is, because this person had not really grieved, like to really manifest healing, the sad part is the relationship with the son that was here was dying. She was getting unhealthy, and the relationships that were so important that were here were just dying in front of her. So as we heal, we're going to grieve. Who would not grieve, when we lose someone we love? It is natural to grieve. But we have to understand, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was a very famous woman years ago, wrote a book on death and dying. And in that book, she shared the stages of healing, of going through what's called the arc of feeling. And the stages are, we have to feel our grief, we have to feel our anger, we have to feel our sadness so that we can come to acceptance, and then ultimately forgiveness and transformation. And what is transformation? It's not that we forget or we never feel the sadness of a lost child. It just means that we hold that in a more graceful way inside our spirit. It's no longer making us sick, and we are moving forward in our life in a healthier way. It would be like if that person who was no longer here, they would be whispering in our ear, "Mom, I am fine. I want you to be healthy. I want you to move on in your life." We have to understand that healing takes work. It's a process. We have to learn the skills. One of the most important skills is not keeping it in our head, but journaling these things out.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Finkelstein. Overall, we have to remember that with emotions, it takes a process. And after the break, we'll be back with Dr. Hill.